Before you ever accuse someone of stealing your idea or of plagiarism, please consider the bizarre case of Dennis the Menace. Dennis the Menace, you see up there, first debuted in the United States in 1951 in March, and the same week of the same month of the same year, Dennis the Menace also debuted in the UK. These had nothing to do with one another. Neither artist or company knew the other was working on it. They never communicated, they never spoke. But by blind coincidence, after all of human history had passed without a comic called Dennis the Menace, on the same week, two completely separate artists came up with a rambunctious young misbehaving child with that name and published their comics within days of one another by blind coincidence. This is what they call parallel thinking. Two people separately influenced by the same cultural forces, and their backgrounds were similar enough that they arrived at the same place separately. I have had something very similar happen to me, and it is kind of an embarrassing story. I have a book coming out next month called If This Book Exists, You're in the Wrong Universe. It has a big lime green cover just like that. But when I turned this in, the manuscript, the very first draft of it, the publisher came back and said, "Hey, I think you sent the wrong file. This thing you sent, I think this is a book that already exists." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I have the Word docs, I have my notes, I can prove I came up with this entirely on my own." And they gave me a title to go look up, and I was stunned by what I found. It turned out that just through parallel thinking and similar creative process, I had accidentally rewritten word for word and letter for letter a book called Finnegan's Wake from 1939. I had never heard of it. But I had to spend more than 3 weeks making changes to this so that it would be different enough that we could still publish it. And there's entire chapters that are still exactly the same, but I don't think anybody's going to notice.